Welcome dear student and Jai Swaminarayan. Today I will start your new chapter number 4, motion in a plane. Dear student, in the previous chapter we were discuss about what do you mean by the motion. When the object change its position with respect to another object with time, the object is said to be in the motion. And same in the previous chapter, we were discussed about a one-dimensional motion, two-dimensional motion, and three-dimensional motion with the example. So when if the coordinate of the object does not change with the time, the object is said to be a rest. So object is either in the state of the rest or in the state of the motion. So let us revise that. The what do you mean by the one dimensional motion? What do you mean by the two dimensional motion? What is the motion in a plane, right? And then we study about how we can represent the motion in a plane, motion in a two dimensional. So first of all, what do you mean by the motion? You know that when the object change its position with respect to another object with time, the object is said to be in the motion. So dear student, when the object is at a rest or a stationary, the coordinates of the object does not change with the time. So if all the three coordinates x, y and z does not change with the time, the object is said to be a rest or a stationary. If one or more coordinate changes with the time, the object is said to be in the motion. And from that, the one dimensional motion, that is the motion in a straight line, we already discussed in a previous chapter, right? So if there is only one coordinate, either x, y or z, changes with respect to time, the motion is said to be a one dimensional motion, linear motion or motion in a straight line. But what is the motion in a plane, right? If there is two coordinate changes with the time, right? So if there is there are two coordinate changes with the time, right? The motion is said to be a two dimensional motion, or we consider the motion in a plane, right? So if there are two coordinate x or y or z and z or x changes with respect to time, the object is said to be a two dimensional motion, or we can consider as a motion in a plane. So here let us see the figure, right? Here the object is at a position p1, the coordinates of the object x1 y1, and after some times the coordinate x coordinate and y coordinate changes with respect to time, the object is moving from p to p1 to p2. So here if the x and y coordinate changes with respect to time, we can say that the object is moved on a xy plane. If y and z coordinate changes with the time, the object is moved in a y and yz plane. And if z and x coordinate changes with the time, the object moves in a zx plane, right? So if the object moves in a plane, that means simultaneously two coordinate changes with the time, the motion is said to be a two dimensional motion. And if all the three coordinate changes with respect to time, the motion is said to be a three dimensional motion. So what is the example of the, what are the example of the two dimensional motion? Motion of the planets around the sun, motion of the strikers in a carom board is the example of the two dimensional motion. So in both the case, two coordinate changes with the time. So now what is the three dimensional motion? You can understand, right? So if all the three coordinate changes with respect to time, the motion is said to be a three dimensional motion. So dear student, in this chapter we will discuss about a two dimensional motion and the three dimensional motion, how the two dimensional motion and three dimensional motion can be represented. So dear student, in the previous chapter, one dimensional motion, or we considered motion in a straight line, either the only two direction is there, forward direction or backward direction, right? Either the object is moving in a forward direction or the object is moving in a backward direction. So the one dimensional motion can be easily represented with the help of the plus and minus sign. In the one direction we take a physical quantity plus, and in the other direction we consider take a physical quantity minus. So the one dimensional motion cannot be one dimensional motion can be represented with the help of the plus minus sign. So the direction in the one dimensional motion can be easily represented with the help of the plus or minus sign, but two dimensional motion and three dimensional motion cannot be represented with the plus minus sign. So for that we use a vector to represent the two dimensional and three dimensional motion. So dear student, in this chapter we will discuss about a two-dimensional motion and the three-dimensional motion, how the two-dimensional motion and three-dimensional motion can be represented with the help of the vector, how the vector algebra is done in the two-dimensional motion, how the vector can be represented, right? So before that, let us discuss what is the scalar physical quantity and vector physical quantity, right? The physical quantities, right? Some of the physical quantities we require to represent the direction also, right? Like a velocity. So to represent the velocity we require a direction. So the physical quantity which requires the magnitude and the direction is called the vector physical quantity. So dear student, let us take the difference between the scalar physical quantity and the vector physical quantity. So first of all, what do you mean by the scalar physical quantity? A quantity for which to know the complete information we need only values, that is the magnitude only, is called the scalar quantity. Dear student, a scalar physical quantity are a physical quantity in which magnitude only we require to know the complete information about that physical quantity. While what is the vector physical quantity? We require magnitude as well as the direction. A quantity for which to know the complete information we need magnitude as well as the direction is called the vector physical quantity, right? So scalar physical quantity we require a magnitude only. To represent the vector quantity we require a magnitude as well as the direction. So for example, mass, time, volume, density, path length, speed, temperature, work, power, these all the physical quantities we require only magnitude to represent this physical quantity. Direction is not required. So this type of the physical quantities are known as the scalar physical quantity, whereas displacement, velocity, acceleration, force, torque, momentum, to represent this physical quantity, displacement, velocity, acceleration, force, torque, momentum, we require magnitude as well as the direction, right? If we say that 10 Newton force is applied on the object, but in which direction we applied a force, right? So to represent the physical quantity which we require a magnitude as well as the direction, these physical quantities are known as the vector physical quantity. Now third point of the difference, the scalar quantities can be represented by its magnitude with the proper unit. Scalar physical quantity can be represented by its magnitude with the proper unit. For example, mass of the object m is equal to 10 kg. Here the magnitude of the mass is a 10 and kg is the unit of the mass. So the scalar physical quantity can be represented with the magnitude only with their proper unit. Time t is equal to 100 second. Time is a scalar physical quantity. We need not represent with the direction, right? Direction is not required. Whereas vector quantities can be represented by a small arrow on the symbol of that physical quantity, or we can use a bold letter to represent the vector physical quantity, but we use a small arrow on the symbol of this physical quantity. For example, force is a vector quantity, so force can be represented by a f small arrow on the f. So this f is known as the force, that is the vector physical quantity. Similarly, velocity is represented by v vector, right? So the vector physical quantity can be represented by a small arrow on the symbol of that physical quantity. For example, force can be represented by F, or we can represent by a bold letter. In the some textbook, the vector quantity can be represented by a bold letter. So you must have to know bold letter F in a bold letter is called the vector F, right? And velocity V vector. So magnitude of this vector physical quantity, because the vector has a direction as well as the magnitude. So magnitude of the vector quantity is represented by in a mode, right? So if we want to represent the magnitude of the force, so we can write a mode of a F, right? The algebra of the scalar quantities are same as the simple mathematical. The multiplication algebra, that means the multiplication, division, subtraction, addition, this of the scalar physical quantity can be done with the help of the simple mathematical rules. But the vector algebra of the vector quantities, addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, algebra of the vector quantity is different from the simple mathematics. So dear student, in this chapter we need to first understand the vector algebra, how the two vectors are how the addition of the two vectors can be done, how the multiplication of the vector, how vector is multiplied by any number, that all the algebra of the vector algebra we can understand first in this chapter. So dear student, understand what is the difference between the scalar quantity and the vector quantity. To represent the scalar quantity, magnitude only require, and to represent the vector quantity, we require the magnitude as well as the direction, right? So let us see the some exercise question to represent the physical quantity is a scalar quantity or a vector quantity. Exercise question number 1. State for each of the following physical quantity if it is a scalar or a vector. So first one is the volume. Volume is a scalar quantity or a vector quantity. To represent the volume, we require a direction? No, right? So the volume is a scalar quantity. Mass is also a scalar quantity. Speed is also a scalar physical quantity. Acceleration. Here to represent the acceleration, we require magnitude as well as the direction. So acceleration is a vector quantity. Density is a scalar quantity. Number of moles, right? Number of moles, that is a one type of the number. We need not require a direction. So the number of moles is a scalar quantity. Velocity, we require a direction. So velocity is a vector quantity, right? Angular frequency. Angular frequency is also a vector quantity, right? Angular velocity, angular frequency, displacement, these all are a vector quantity. So understand the first question, which physical quantity is a scalar quantity or which physical quantity is a vector quantity. Here the volume, mass, speed, density and number of moles are a scalar quantity, while acceleration, velocity, angular frequency, displacement, angular velocity are a vector quantity, right? Now, question number 4.2. Pick out the two scalar quantities in following list. So, in the following list, two physical quantities are a scalar quantity and pick out this scalar quantity from this list. Other are a vector quantity. So, here the force is a vector quantity, angular momentum is also a vector quantity, work is a scalar quantity, right? And electric current is also a scalar quantity. Linear momentum is a vector quantity, electric field is a vector quantity, average velocity is a vector quantity, magnetic momentum is a vector quantity, and the relative velocity is also a vector quantity. So out of this list, work and electric current is considered as a scalar physical quantity, right? Other are a vector quantity. Question number 4.3. Pick out only the vector quantity in the following list. Which one is the vector quantity in the following list? So here temperature. Temperature is a scalar quantity. Pressure is a scalar or vector? Pressure. direction is not required. So pressure is also a scalar quantity, right? Here impulse is a vector quantity, time scalar quantity, power is also a scalar quantity, total path length scalar quantity, energy is also a scalar quantity, gravitational potential is a vector quantity, coefficient of friction is also a scalar quantity, and electric charge is also a scalar quantity. So here the impulse and gravitational potential is a vector quantity, all other are a scalar physical quantity. So dear student, understand first three questions of the exercise. Now dear student, to represent the two-dimensional motion and the three-dimensional motion, we require a vector, right? So first of all, how we can draw the vector algebra we will study in this chapter. So first of all, how the vector is represented. To represent the vector quantity, right, physical quantity, we require to represent the magnitude as well as the direction, right? In the one dimensional motion there are only two direction, either positive or negative. We can represent with the help of the plus or minus sign. But to represent the two dimensional motion as well as the three dimensional motion, we use a vector. So first of all, how we can draw the vector, how the vector is represented. So here the vector is represented by arrow from any point, right? Vector can be represented by a arrow from any point, right, such that the length of the arrow is equal to the magnitude of that physical quantity in a proper scale. So dear student, here the length of the arrow is equal to the magnitude of that physical quantity, right? So the length of the arrow, larger arrow is the magnitude of the physical quantity is larger, and the sign of the arrow gives the direction of the physical quantity, or we can say that the effect of that physical quantity, right? So the here the if we represent the vector by a single arrow, the length of the arrow gives the magnitude of that physical quantity, and the sign of the arrow gives the direction of that physical quantity, or we can say that the effect of that physical quantity. For example, if we consider a train is moving with the velocity of 40 km/h in the north direction, right? So if we want to, velocity is the vector quantity, right? We require a magnitude as well as the direction. So here the magnitude of the velocity is a 40 km/h, and the direction of the velocity of train is in a north direction. So here if we want to represent the velocity vector of the train, a train is moving with the velocity of the 40 km/h in the north direction. So we draw a arrow from any point in the north direction, right? The arrow indicates in a north direction, and the size of this arrow is a 40 km/h, but we cannot represent a length of the arrow as a 40 centimeter or a 40 meter, right? So we take a proper scale, 1 centimeter is equal to 10 km/h, and draw a arrow of a 4 centimeter in a north direction. This is called the vector OP, right? Or we can say that the velocity vector of the train, right? Here O is the tail of the vector and P is the head of the vector. So we can write the velocity of the train OP is equal to velocity vector V, and it has a magnitude 40 km/h, right? Understand? Suppose, now second example, let us take a second example. Suppose a force acting on the any object, 10 Newton force at an angle 30 degree, right? So here the magnitude of the force is a 10 Newton, and the direction is a 30 degree with the positive x-axis, or the direction is the 30-degree angle with the horizontal. So how we can draw? Draw a arrow of a 10 centimeter or in a proper scale, right, OQ, which has a length equal to the magnitude of the force, and angle direction is at a angle 30 degree with the horizontal, right? So this way we can represent the any vector, and the vectors which are drawn from the any point is called the free vectors, right? So these all the vectors are called the free vectors. So dear student, understand how we can represent the vector. To represent vector, we require two things, magnitude as well as the direction. So magnitude, that is the value of the vector, and the direction, that is the angle with the positive x-axis, right? Suppose here the velocity vector is drawn in this direction, we can say that the direction of this vector is in the upward direction, or we can say that it is the 90 degree with the positive x-axis, right? So that to represent the vector, we require two things, magnitude, that is the value of the physical quantity, and the direction, that is the angle with the positive x-axis. So here the angle with the positive x-axis is a 90 degree, here the angle with the positive x-axis is a 30 degree, right? So understand, dear student, how we can represent the vector. Now, if you consider a two or more vectors, equality of the vectors, right? Equality of the vectors. Vectors are a same vector, equal vectors, or a not equal vectors. So first of all, in that we consider the equal vectors. What are the equal vectors? The vectors which have a same magnitude and direction are called the equal vectors. So equal vectors has the magnitude, same magnitude, as well as the direction of the vectors are also same, right? So if direction is a different, we cannot say the vectors are a equal vector. So the vectors which have a same magnitude and the same directions are called the equal vector. Suppose consider here vector OP is in this direction, or we can consider as a vector A. Vector OP is equal to vector A, and vector OQ is in the same direction. So here the length of both the vector are same. So we can say that the magnitude of both the vector are same, and both the vector are in the same direction. So we can say that the vector A and vector B are a equal vector, or we can write like this, O vector OP is equal to vector OQ, vector A is equal to vector B, right? But here in other direction, other vectors, vector P and vector Q, both having the same length, are in the same direction, so these two vectors are considered as a equal vector. We can say that both the vector are a equal vector. So dear student, vectors having the same magnitude and same direction are called the equal vectors. So next is the parallel vectors. What do you mean by the parallel vectors? The vectors which are in the same direction, magnitude may be a same or not same, right? Magnitude are same or not. The vectors which are in the same direction are called the parallel vector. So here we consider both the vector OP and vector OQ, vector A and vector B are in the same direction, which has a different magnitude, right? Vector P and vector Q are in the same direction, which has a different magnitude. So these vectors are called the parallel vector. So vectors which are in the same direction are called the parallel vector, and the angle between the two parallel vector is a 0, right? We consider the angle between the two parallel vectors are a 0. So here one important point is that equal vectors are considered as a parallel vector. What are the equal vectors? Vector having the same magnitude are in the same direction are called the equal vector. So equal vectors are considered as a parallel vector. So here we point an important point, all the equal vectors are a parallel vectors. The angle between parallel vector is a 0, right? All the equal vectors are a parallel vector, but all the parallel vectors are called the equal vector? Not. All the parallel vectors are not a equal vector. Why? Because in the parallel vector, magnitude are not may not be a same, right? So all the parallel vectors are not a equal vector. Understand, dear student, what are the equal vectors and what are the parallel vectors? Vectors which have a same magnitude and same direction are called the equal vector, but the vectors which are in the same direction, magnitude are same, that is a equal vector. But if the magnitude are not same, the vectors are called the parallel vectors, and the angle between the two parallel vectors are 0. Next one is the negative vector. The vectors which have a same magnitude but opposite in the direction, are called the negative vectors, right? The vectors which have a same magnitude but opposite in the direction are called the negative vector of the vector, right? So here if we consider the vector A, right, is in this direction OP, right? Vector A is equal to vector OP. We draw a vector having the same length OQ, right, which has a length same as a vector A but in the opposite direction. We can say that this vector QO is the negative vector of the vector OP, or we can say that the vector B is the negative vector of the vector A. We can write vector A is equal to minus vector B. Magnitude of both the vector are same but vectors are in the opposite direction are called the negative vector, right? Next one is the anti-parallel vector. The vectors which are in the opposite direction, magnitude are same or not? Vectors which are in the opposite direction, magnitude are same or not, are called the anti-parallel vector. So here vector OP is in this direction and vector OQ is in opposite direction. So we can say that this vector A and vector B are a anti-parallel vector, and the angle between the two anti-parallel vector is a 180 degree. So from these two parallel vectors and the negative vectors and the anti-parallel vectors, all the negative vectors are in the opposite direction. So we can say that all the negative vectors are a anti-parallel vectors, but all the anti-parallel vectors are not a negative vectors, because in the anti-parallel vectors the magnitude may not be a same. Next one is the non-parallel vector or a aparallel vector. The vectors which are neither parallel nor anti-parallel are called the non-parallel vectors or a aparallel vectors. So we can draw the any vectors in the any direction. The vectors are a non-parallel vectors. So now dear student, coplanar vector. The vectors which are in a same plane are considered as a coplanar vector. The vectors lies on a same plane are called the coplanar vector. In the if the two vectors are in a xy plane, these two vectors are considered as a coplanar vector. Second one is the co-initial vector. The vectors which are initiated from a common point are the called the co-initial vector. So here consider these three vectors, and all the three vectors are initiated from the common point O, right? These all the three vectors are considered as a co-initial vectors, right? And third one is the last one is the co-terminal vector. The vectors which are terminated at a common point are considered as a co-terminal vectors. So dear student, understand all the equalities of the vector: equal vectors, parallel vectors, negative vectors, anti-parallel vectors, non-parallel vectors, coplanar vectors, co-initial vectors and co-terminal vectors, right? So dear student, I hope that you understand what is the vector and what are the equality of the vector. Thank you very much for watching my video.